Welcome to another RSR. This morning, I'm reviewing Iran 2, Japan 1 in the AFC Asian Cup 2024 quarterfinals. Japan bottles it. First half is a Japanese half. They played pretty damn well. They had the lead, rightfully so. They looked like the better team. Then the second half was all Iran. Iran scores in the 55th minute. They start hot. They score in the 55th minute. And Japan looks desperate, desolate. They acted like they were 3 down when they were tied. And you could just tell that they knew they were screwed when that first Iranian goal went in. They knew they were screwed. You could just tell. They give up a penalty right at the end of the game. They lose the game. They're out of the Asian Cup. 2-1. Goals were scored as follows. In the 28th minute, Hidemasa Morita scores, takes a shot low, off the boot of Berenvand, and bounces up into the air, over his head, and into the net. 0-1. Morita gets the shot, does deke a couple of defenders. Great shot, and a little bit of help from some really bad FIFA-level physics. And he gets the goal, 0-1, and that's the way it would go into half. 0-1 for Japan. Again, rightfully so. That first half was Japan's. They played very well. They played defensively resolute. Zion Suzuki did pretty well when he needed to. That defensive line was a lot more calm, even though they were still sloppy, and I'll get there. They were still sloppy. That back line was a lot better than what they were in the second half. They got so much worse, so much more sloppy, so much more discombobulated. And then in the 55th minute, Iran starts hot. Mohamed Mahebi scores the goal. Gets the ball from Azmoun. Has a perfect run, perfect timing, onside, but he runs past that center back. He has time to deposit the ball past Zion Suzuki. Rolls it in, 1-1 in the 55th minute. Then, in the 90-plus 5th minute, penalty is given. Ko Itakura takes out the attacker, sweeps the leg like he's in Cobra Kai because that's all he could do because he didn't trust his goalkeeper. But his goalkeeper might have burned out the attack if he didn't sweep the leg, but he swept the leg. Penalty. Right on, no question. Alireza Jahanbakhsh scores the penalty, takes the shot, and bangs it into the net to win the game for Iran. Alireza Jahanbakhsh scores 2-1 to have Iran go to the semifinals of the Asian Cup. Full-time 2-1, and rightfully so, because that second half, Japan blew it. All Iran. Second half. Japan was freaking horrible. They were horrible in that second half. They were discombobulated. They were desperate. They were tied 1-1 for 40 minutes, 35 minutes. Tied 1-1, and they were acting like they were down 3 goals. Desperate. That back line was discombobulated. Iran fought for every ball. They won every second ball. They fought for every ball. They were the better team in the second half, and they never gave up. Iran deserves to win this game. Simple as. Simple. Stats are as follows. 17 shots to 8. 4 shots on goal to 2, 42% possession to 58% possession, 312 passes to 442 passes, 72% pass accuracy to 82%, 15 fouls to 12, 4 offside to 1, 0 yellow cards to 2, 0 red cards to 0, and 3 corners to 3. Iran, I'm going to start with you because I got a rant about Japan. I'm going to start with you. Iran, amazing second half. Amazing. an amazing play by Iran. They played such a good second half. They worked that Japanese team down to ash. Pressing very hard, defending very well, going after every ball, making sure keep going into the final third. The final ball wasn't there for Iran in the first half. The second half it was. And yeah, they were offside a couple of times, but they tested that Japanese defense because that Japanese defense was more discombobulated than a freaking B movie on Showtime at 3 o'clock in the morning. It just was. Or I could have said a Hallmark movie, but either way, Japan were discombobulated to hell and back. Or like a Bro Country song made by Walker Hayes. But either way, I'm just making fun of Japan at this point. I wanted them to win. I am a Japanese fan. I have a lot of respect for the country and its customs and its language. My mom lived there for 4 years when she was younger. have no Japanese blood. I have a respect for the culture, but still. For a good reason. There's a difference. But again, Japan. What the hell was that? Zion Suzuki didn't even screw up today. And this matters because this is like a hockey team, okay? Japan, you are like a hockey team. If you've watched ice hockey, and this is really apparent in hockey, but I've seen it in football a couple of times. This is one of the couple of times. The goalie is where the spine begins, right? And if the goalie is shaky, the rest of the players on the outfield players or skaters, who are the people who can actually score the goals, are shaky too. With Zion Suzuki, you could tell these players did not trust him one bit because he did throw games away in the group stage. He did throw goals away in the group stage. And this sort of, the red herring here, the situation was obvious. When Ayase Ueda went up for that header to try to clear the ball in the last game against Bahrain, but it was an own goal instead because it was knocked out of Zion Suzuki's hands because Ueda didn't trust him. That's exactly what that showed. And here today, you could tell that defense and that team did not trust Suzuki, but sadly enough, he played well. I actually thought he was one of the 3 stars of the game. Can't do much about a penalty. And the goal that was against him, the first one, you can't really do much about that either. He played pretty well. He didn't make no bad mistakes. And the penalty was given away by Koitakura because he did not trust his goalkeeper to make the right move. My point being is the team did not trust the goalkeeper. And they were all sloppy because of that. And then the first goal goes in for Iran and they melt down. Like, I'm surprised because Japan, the blue lock, was not there. But maybe Gondo was part of that. I guess he was, because sure wasn't Zion Suzuki, because this team was so discombobulated, so desperate, like they knew the way this game ended was how it was going to end at the end of it. They felt like they were screwed. At 1-1, they felt like they were screwed. They were desperate to get that ball forward, and they couldn't get it forward because they just kept lobbing the ball forward. And Iran won the second balls. They won the headers. Japan lost their style of play. And you kind of saw this against Iraq as well, which is exactly sort of how this game went, except Japan had the lead first, was Japan cannot win in the air because, again, they are a shorter team. And that's just the way it works. Iran is a taller team. Iraq is a taller team. Most of these Arab world teams are taller than Japan or taller than South Korea. That's just the way this is. It's just the way of genetics in this situation. The players in the Arab world are taller than the players in East Asia. That's just a fact. That's been a fact. And Japan cannot win the headers. So, let me ask you, what happens when they play a team like Spain? What happens when they play a team like, I don't know, England? Japan is not the team we thought they were at the end of 22 into 2023. Now, my question is that because Zion Suzuki rattled them? Or is that because Japan are just falling off from a peak that they couldn't sustain? Which is it? Could it be both? Is it one? Is it the other? Is it both? You would think the way they were playing, I thought that team was sustainable. I did not think it was just a peak at the wrong time. Maybe it was. Maybe we got to see. But, I mean, Japan is still a good team at times. But Moriyasu, I have to say, he should have had a keeper in mind to bring to this tournament in case Zion Suzuki wasn't that guy. And besides, and even though he was good today, doesn't matter. He had 3 bad games. He even was okay against Bahrain. I don't think the goal was his fault. It was Ueda's fault, so I'm not going to blame him. He played well against Bahrain, but that was Bahrain. The group stage showed he wasn't the guy, at least not right now. Should have brought a keeper that was more mature, more trusted. Because, it's like hockey. It's kind of like Marc-Andre Fleury for Vegas in 2021 when Montreal played Vegas. You could tell he wasn't the guy in that series. And they had to play hot potato with the goalies. Sometimes when it's late, it's too late. And I guess Moriyasu knew he shouldn't have played hot potato with his goalies. But you should have known after that Iraq game, he had to get, nope. I mean, even that Vietnam game, the 2 goals, I mean, come on. 4-2 against Vietnam. That's on him. It was on him. So, after those 2 games, you should have known. Nope. Hook. Boom. You're out. We need to win this tournament. Experienced goalkeeper. But no. Why he hitched his hopes to him, I don't know. But that kind of gives me a bad feeling or a bad look at Moriyasu. One of the first bad things against him that I've seen in this whole tenure. And I'm like, dude. And this was pretty much an A- team. This was pretty much Japan's best team. And they basically pissed away Asian Cup. They should have easily made the Final Four. And honestly, 70% likely to win. This is as bad as Morocco bottling it in the round of 16, except at least Japan got around further, so I guess it looks better. I guess. I mean, does it look better? I guess. But it's basically pulling what Morocco pulled. And you're telling me that Japan... I'm just shocked with the way they played. They played so damn desperate. It's not even funny. They played so damn desperate. For a team that was tied 1-1, you would think, you know what? We have a chance to come back into this. We were dominating the first half. Figure out what changed and do it. Oh, and by the way, speaking of Moriyasu, 2 meaningful substitutions. That's it. You have 5. You only made 2. And, oh, by the way, Mitoma and Minamino didn't even stop the bleeding like you thought they would. Well, there you go. They didn't stop the bleeding. That was like, 15 minutes of play? Plus stoppage time? So, again, there's a bad thing, is the subs were absolutely horrible timing, and the subs, they should have used more. So, that was stubborn. So, that's another thing against him. And Japan played right into Iran's hand. They fell apart, they choked, and they got too desperate. And now they're out of the tournament. And rightfully so, because Iran's second half was way better than Japan's first half. Even though Japan had the first half, Iran's second half was so much better than Japan's first half and so much more dominant. So much more. Man of the match for me, I'm going to go with Alireza Jahanbakhsh. Because the way he scored that penalty, that was brass balls. To have that penalty to be like, win or go to extra time. He took that like it was life or death. And he scored. The brass balls on that man. Cool as a cucumber. I got to give it to him because honestly, yeah, I'll give it to him. So there you go. With that being said, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Send super chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put us to play. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I shall see you tomorrow for a live watch along and review of Hong Kong 11 versus Inter Miami CF. If Miami doesn't win 6-0, they have true problems. That's all I'm going to say. Congratulations to Iran, commiserations to Japan, and I'm done covering the Asian Cup. So there's 2 games I got to stay up for and through, but you know what? No more early wake-ups. That's the good news. You love to see it. Everything gets closer to normal after the 2 Miami preseason games tomorrow and the 7th. Everything is basically back to normal, so that's great. With that being said, for a couple of months, because then May is the freaking UEFA finals and then the Euros and all that. So there you go. But with that being said, see you tomorrow. I'm Rant and I'm out. Peace. Japan, you disappoint me. You blew it. I'm out.